Okay, good evening. This is a regular meeting of Livingston's Planning Board, and notice of this meeting has been published in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thanks, Jack. If you can take the roll, please.
Mr. Ratner? Yes. Ms. Fass?
Yes.
Mr. Dufford?
Yes.
Mr. Batani?
Here.
Ms. Wishnew?
Here.
Ms. Khanna? Here. Vice Chair Santola?
Here.
Chairman Fernandez?
Here.
We have our quorum, we have our board attorney, our planner, and our assistant engineer.
Thank you. If you can call the first matter.
That matter scheduled for this evening is preliminary and final site plan with variances for Block 1407, Lot 11, 66 West Mount Pleasant Avenue, application number 2025-88-PFSPV, Somerset Regal Bank.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public here? All right, then I will do away with our introductory couple of paragraphs and just move on immediately into the application.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a while since I've been in Livingston, and it was always a pleasure, so I'm happy
Welcome.
to be back. My name is Susan Rubright. I am an attorney with Brock Eichler in Roseland, New Jersey. And I am here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Somerset Regal Bank. We have a number of witnesses which I will go through. As Jackie noted, the property is located at 66 West Mount Pleasant Avenue. It's block 1407, lot 11. The property is 1.35 acres in size. It's located in the B1 zone, and banks are a permitted use. There is an existing building in which the bank is located. The bank is located on the first floor. There are other office uses in the building as well. The applicant proposes to add a canopy structure with a drive-in-out that is accessory to the bank building, along with directional signs on the canopy. No changes to this site are proposed other than the addition of the canopy structure. The canopy structure is being added to the location of two of the parking spaces that are closest to the building. The impervious coverage will be reduced slightly as the area of the pavement between the canopy and the building will be removed and landscaped. The number of parking spaces on site will not be affected. The vehicles that will park in the two spaces that accommodate the canopy would otherwise have been used by customers that would park closest to the entrance and then use either go inside or would use the auto teller. So now they're going to be able to just pull in, use the teller machine, and be able to then back out. We're seeking the following approvals: preliminary and final site plan approval, C variances. Our witnesses are David Orbach, to my right. He's the executive chairman of SR Bank Corp. And executive vice chairman of Somerset Regal Bank, and he will qualify himself. Our engineer is Fred Stewart, and Sean Moronsky is our planner. We have the professionals' reports, and we will address them in turn. So, without further ado.
Yes, Susan, before you begin, all of the witnesses that you're going to call, if you can please stand up and step forward, and I'm going to ask the board professionals to stand up as well. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're going to provide in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then from left to right, just please state your name for the record, so we have a record of who took the oath.
Left to right, you're left.
Why don't we start with you?
Good question.
Hi,
First question.
my name's David Orbach, O-R-B-A-C-H.
Sean Moronsky, M-O-R-O-N-S-K-I, professional planner.
Fred Stewart, S-T-E-W-A-R-T, professional engineer and land surveyor.
Barbara Allen, E-H-L-E-N, planner for the Township of Livingston.
Rocco Marucci, M-A-R-U-C-C-I, assistant township engineer, board engineer.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
so I would like to qualify Mr. Orbach and then have him go over just what the plan is, why the bank is doing that, doing the in-out structure, and
I'm sorry, just to clarify, you said qualify. Is the witness here as a fact witness or an expert witness?
fact witness.
Okay, so he doesn't need to be qualified?
All right.
Okay.
Point taken, thank you. I'm going to cross off qualify in my, never mind, you don't need to know. Okay, all right, David, so David Orbach, David, just go through briefly, so that we can,
Sure.
so the board has an understanding of your role at the bank, how long you've been there, and then talk about the capacity of the
Sure.
tellers.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Happy to be back here. I was actually commenting earlier that about 18 years ago, I was here at this same planning board when we were looking for our approval when we opened up Regal Bank, our headquarters up east, up Route 10 on 570 Mount Pleasant. So it's kind of funny how quickly time flies that I'm back here again, but for a different building. Anyway, as Susan said, I'm David Orbach. I'm executive chairman of SR Bancorp, which is the parent public company of Somerset Regal Bank, of which I'm the executive vice chairman. And I served in that position, this position because we merged with another bank a few years ago. But prior to that, I was the chairman of Regal Bank, as mentioned, since 2007. So I've pretty much held the same position, but different name of the bank since then. So now at 66 at the current property location, we have a full-service commercial bank. We operate 6 days, Monday through Friday. We operate from 9 to 5. Saturdays, we're open from 8:30 to 12. We don't have any Sunday hours. We have about 29 employees within the bank. We have a full-service branch, and we also have our back office operations on the first floor of the building. We have 3 to 4 tellers currently there, depending on, obviously, everyone's schedule and time off. Currently, we do not have any drive-up or drive-in capacity on the property. And the reason why we're doing this is because due to the layout of the parking lot and the space requirements and the in and out between Route 10 and the side road, a typical drive-through, which is pretty much what every bank in New Jersey has, is just not feasible on the site plan. We came up with this concept as a drive-up. We thought it was a very good solution because you're not taking away any existing parking spots. Right now, people park in those spots to come use the bank. Now we'd just be putting a canopy over it. So instead of parking, using the bank, having to deal with the weather or anything like that, they'd just be parking in, doing their transactions through the tube that runs through the building to the teller line, backing out just like they would normally do at a normal parking spot.
So David, just let me just ask you a couple questions.
Yes, sure.
If I might. So the spaces are existing parking spaces, correct? That customers use. So they pull in, they pull out after they've either gone into the bank or there's a teller out, an automatic teller outside?
Well, to be clear, the spots that we're talking about are the 2 closest to the building. They're not designated for bank-only use, so technically anyone in the building could use it. We occupy the entire first floor of the bank, and there's only half the spaces occupied from other tenants upstairs. So typically, those spaces are utilized by bank, either by customers or employees. The employees are typically told to park a little bit further back, so the spaces closest to the building could be utilized by customers. But right now, people would pull into the spot, they'd get out of their car, they'd walk into the building, they'd conduct their transactions, go back to the spot, pull back out. What we're proposing is putting a canopy over that, running a tube just like a normal drive-through would have, but this would not be a drive-through, it would be a drive-in and pull it back out. Kind of like the old-fashioned, drive-in restaurants that used to have that, but obviously you're not sending food through the tube here, you're sending deposits or whatnot.
How long do you think that process will take? Have you estimated that to pull in and then do the?
Well, right now, when people come in, depending on how much of a transaction they do, either they go into the teller, they're conducting their normal business and they're going back out, or if they have some more involved work, opening up new accounts, it takes a little bit more time. But a typical transaction, if they're just making a deposit or withdrawal, depending on how many accounts they're doing. But this solution doesn't really affect parking at all because those same spots would be utilized regardless whether they're conducting transactions and getting out of the car and going into the building or conducting a transaction through a video screen and sending their work through a tube that runs to the teller line.
So in your opinion, as in your position at the bank, The location that this is being placed, is that the best one from the access and customer service standpoints? Is there any other place that you think it would be better?
No, I think we chose those spots because it's the closest to the building. It's the closest, the further away from the building you get, the longer the tube has to go, which means the longer the person has to wait for it to go through suction or vacuum to the teller and then back out. This gives visibility to the cars from within the bank, even though there's going to be still a monitor at the teller line. It's the shortest run to get the deposit or whatever type of trend paperwork they're sending through the tube to the bank. And it also alleviates some safety concerns, because right now when, let's say, elderly or other people that don't want, if it's raining or snowing and they don't want to deal with the weather, we've seen people pull up, I don't say they leave their car idling, but someone will pull up, wait outside right by the bushes further towards the entrance to the bank to run in to try to escape the weather. Here, they wouldn't have, obviously that's the safety concern. We don't tell them to do that. People just do that. We can't prevent that. But here, people would have a canopy that overhangs two of the spots. They'd pull in, they'd be able to do their work without having to deal with the weather. And again, they're pulling in and the pulling out is what they're doing now anyway to park. So pulling in and pulling out with a canopy over them to do their work wouldn't change the mechanics of the parking.
So one of the questions that the board engineer asked was, his comment number 2 on page 2 of his report, was what is the anticipated turnover and volume? I'm thinking that means how many people and how quickly do you think they will be able to go in and out? And how many during the day?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, there are some days when our branches is quite busy, and there's some days that it's not, depending on the hour, depending on what's going on. Again, there's plenty of spots and designated spaces for people to still use when they're coming into the bank. If those 2 spots are taken and people are conducting their transactions that way, they would still have bank designated spots that we have in the front of the building to use regardless, and it's easy to see that those 2 spots would be taken if so.
Okay, good. We need some variances, correct? Bulk variances, and we will be, we do have a professional planner who will be testifying about this. Okay. Anything else you want to tell the board?
No, that's pretty much it. We tried to keep it as minimally invasive as possible, and we thought this was a great solution without having the traditional drive-through, which would not only be feasible in this location, but would require a lot more variances to get rid of parking spots and a lot more to do.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll open this to the.
Are there-
They're going to
Oh,
ask you
sorry.
questions.
Any questions?
They can now ask you questions.
Any questions from the board for this witness?
Yeah. Other tenants in the building,
Yes.
there are, right?
Yes.
How much of the parking lot is allotted to them? Or is it allotted, or is it first come, first served?
It's first, the only allotted spaces there's, I think, 8 or 10 bank-only parking in the front, and everything else is first come, first served.
And it's usually pretty full, I would guess.
No, I mean, on any given day, I'd say about, in the entire parking lot, there's maybe a quarter to a third of the spaces are empty. Because the whole second floor is not tenanted. It's only about half the building on the upstairs is tenanted.
It's not rented yet?
There's vacant space upstairs.
So there could be another tenant in, which would bring more cars.
There could be, but I was at that same building at a prior bank when the building was fully tenanted, and the bank had even more employees, and the building had more employees, and the parking lot was never, ever full.
So just to clarify, your testimony is that it's between a quarter to a third full now and.
No, quarter to a third empty now.
Empty. Okay.
Yeah.
Quarter to a third
Not
empty.
today.
So that if the second floor were to become tenanted, there would still be, in your opinion, there would be adequate.
Yeah, because the vacant space upstairs that I know would not yield 20 to 30 or 40 spots. I mean, it's not that big of vacant spaces. So I can't even conceive of, again, like I said, I was in that building 20-some-5 years ago when it was totally rented. Everything was 100% occupied, and the parking lot was never full.
use
And
a
again, we're
system-
not taking away spaces here, we're just reutilizing 2 spaces.
Have you used a system like this at any of your other branches?
No, it's using this traditional drive-through system with a tube, and it's just, instead of going in, driving through, and going in one way, exiting the other way, you're just pulling in and then pulling back out. Other than that, the mechanics of the tube and the drive.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the pulling in and pulling out, the process as opposed to driving through. Have you done something similar
No.
to this?
No.
Okay.
But again, people are pulling in and pulling out and just getting out of their car. Here, they're just staying in their car and then pulling in and pulling out.
And these are transactions primarily with an ATM or something like that?
No, this is
or
not an
they're
ATM.
teller?
This is just teller doing. So if someone wanted to use the ATM, they would have to park in a regular spot and go to the ATM. And if they wanted to open up an account or do something with the customer service rep, they'd have to come into the
Right.
bank. This is purely for transactional work through the teller, making a deposit, getting change, making withdrawal, something that would be just with a teller interaction, not a customer service.
Okay, thank you.
Jack, how come we don't have half sheet?
Any other questions from members of the board? Any questions from members of the public? Seeing none? Would you like to
Great. Thank
call
you
your
all.
next witness?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fred Stewart, who is our site engineer.
Thank you.
You gonna put the plan up?
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you. Do I need to
And
qualify?
having been sworn in, so
Yeah,
I've
I
sworn
know,
in,
that's,
yep.
I was waiting for that, and then I remembered.
we want to just, why don't we just get qualifications first?
Sure, okay. Sure. Mr. Stewart, if you could give the board the benefit of your educational and professional background and for whom you work at the present time.
Sure, I received my certificate in surveying in 1986 from County College of Morris. Received my surveyor's license in 1991 from the state of New Jersey. Received my Bachelor's of Science from NJIT in 1996. Received my engineer's license in 1999 from the state of New Jersey. Been practicing in the surveying and engineering field since 1984. Had my own business since the year 2000 and have testified before numerous boards throughout northern New Jersey, such as this one, and on similar projects as well. I don't think I've been here for quite a long time, though.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions from the board? Any objections? Okay, the board accepts you as an expert, and he's being offered in engineering?
Surveying and
Surveying?
engineering.
Engineering, okay, surveying and engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Stewart, if you could just go through, briefly, and just, even though I introduced it, go through the aspects of the property, the address, the zone, and then describe the existing building, the existing parking, access, just to sort of set the scene for where we're asking for the relief.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to be referring to my plans, which are revised to 11/14/2025, of which the board should have a copy of, some larger copies as well. We're at 66 West Mount Pleasant Ave, Lot 11, Block 1407. We're in the B1 zone. We do front, or the building does front on Mount Pleasant Ave, but we also have some frontage on North Mitchell Ave that we do not utilize basically for any access whatsoever. I'll just go to my second page here and zoom in a little bit. There we go. To the left of the drawing here is West Mount Pleasant Ave. We do have a paver walkway which leads from the public sidewalk into the front of the building, front door of the building. We have an access driveway on the east side or right side of the building, which is a common access drive for our lot, Lot 11, and also Lot 12, and that does exit out onto North Mitchell. through Lot 12 in this area here. Proceeding down that access drive, you basically go into our parking area. There's no parking in the front of the building, just parking in the rear. There are 91 parking stalls in the rear of the building. There's also a rear entry door, which is the main entrance for the bank, because that's where everybody parks. They enter the bank through the middle of the building right here. That's the entry door. There is a walk-up ATM that is located to the right of the doorway. That's what those bollards are protecting right there on the right side of the door. Okay. The topography on the site is gently sloping, basically heading towards North Mitchell, going from west to east, sloping downward. Gentle slope, I think there's about 2-foot difference in slope or elevation from the left side of the property or west side of the property to the east side of the property in this location here. So as you can see, it's a very gently sloped property.
We're not changing any of that, right?
We're not changing any of the topography.
Okay.
There's no floodplain, no wetlands, or no riparian buffers on the site or near the site. So let's go to my third sheet, which will show our proposed improvement. As you can see, it's minor in nature because it's off the northwest corner of the building, located in this area here. As stated earlier, it's taking up 2 existing parking stalls. And actually, let me go to my fourth sheet, which does have a blow-up of that area. There we go. This is in the upper right-hand corner of the plans on the fourth sheet. To the left side of this detail area is our existing building. As you can see, the shaded, darker shaded area is the proposed canopy. The canopy is 12 foot deep, I'll call it, by 18 foot wide. So it's basically a little bit bigger than a parking stall. Your normal parking stall or typical parking stall today is 9 by 18. This is 12 by 18 for the canopy. That will cover two of the existing parking stalls, mainly on one, partially on the other, because you only need to cover the driver's side portion of that area anyway to get out of the elements. So in placing the canopy here, we are removing some asphalt, mainly to construct the improvements, and constructing a concrete island for the second parking stall, call it, which is all the way to the right. That island will house the structure itself, which are the 2 supports or piles coming up from the ground to support the canopy, located in the front and the back. That will also have the unit, the customer unit, within the center of that. On each side of that first parking stall, you have the one for the second stall to the right and the one for the first stall to the left. So that's where the islands will be able to have the supports in it and along with the customer units. We are curbing those parking stalls. The one to the left will have curb coming along here, going up to the existing edge of pavement. That area there that I'm circling right now will be removed. The pavement will be removed, and in its place, most of it will be a planter area now. So that's our reduction of
And so, just, Mr.
impervious
Stewart,
area.
so that's the area between the building the building structure and the new structure,
That's correct.
right? Because
That's correct. That'll be the area between the new canopy and the
canopy.
existing building.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay? So that will be a triangular area that was pavement, will now be a planter.
Okay, thanks, thank you.
Now, the location of the structure, it's going to be 7.2 feet from the building, the closest corner, and the further corner will be 12.4 feet because it's on a slight skew. But the 7.2 feet, that's a variant situation because within your ordinance, we're required to be the height of the structure away from the existing building. So the height of this canopy is at 11 feet to the highest point. It's a flat roof canopy, and that's the distance we're supposed to be, so therefore it's a variance for that. Same with the westerly boundary line, which is up towards the top of the drawing here. Same type of setup where you have to have an 11-foot offset, because that's what's required, the height of that structure. We're at 6.9 feet. So those are the 2 variances that we are seeking for this structure, for the yards and the offset to the building.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. So the idea here is just to saw cut out the pavement, replace in the concrete islands or island and the concrete curb on the one side, and construct the canopy, and replace the pavement and repair as necessary, and provide any other striping that we need to that is damaged during this process.
Is there going to be directional signage to this structure now?
Yes, there is. There will be. I'll get to that next so I can stay
Okay,
on my
sorry,
drawing.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So let's see, there was one more thing. Oh, the lighting for the canopy.
Gotcha.
We do have 4 lights or recessed lights within the canopy, so there's no, you're not going to see the any globe or anything of the light. It's going to be recessed just like you have here, the hi-hats here. There's 4 units, 2 for each customer unit that will be shining down on that unit. So there'll be sufficient lighting for that, and that'll help with the security of the area as well. As far as any plantings within that landscaped area, there's just going to be low-lying bushes that we are proposing there, minimal height in nature. We don't want large bushes, of course, in the planting area, especially next to an ATM, basically for security purposes. Let's see, as far as the parking goes, as you heard earlier, 91 stalls total are existing. We're using 2 stalls, which are still parking stalls, and will be used for the bank as well, and will still be used for the bank. So within your ordinance, you are required to have 1 parking stall for every 200 square feet of building area or net floor area of the bank. Our net floor area of the bank itself is 2,912 square feet. Dividing that by 200 square feet gives us 15 required stalls for the bank. As far as the remainder of the building, there's 18,614 square feet. We are required to have 1 parking stall for every 250 square feet of office space. That's what we have there. So dividing the 18,614 by 250 gives us 75 required parking stalls for the remainder of the building besides the bank. So the total number of stalls required to have on site is 90. We have 91. So we still meet the required parking for the site. As far as the signage goes, we do have 4 existing signs on the building, which I'll introduce. Go back to my 3rd sheet, just for location purposes. Our main sign on the west Mount Pleasant Ave frontage is located on the southeasterly portion of the building, which is right in this section here. That sign is 42.5 square feet. We have a secondary sign on the rear corner of the building, which is the northeasterly corner. That sign square footage is at 24.7 square feet. We have a small directional sign for Somerset Bank, which is located, I'll call that again, on the southeasterly corner of the building on the easterly side, just to point to the parking, which is located here. It's probably about 5 feet off the ground or so. That's a 6 square foot sign. That's more directional in nature. And then we have an ATM sign, backed by the ATM, of course, the walk-up ATM, which is located right in this section to the right of the doorway from the rear parking or from the parking area. And that's at 6.7 square feet. So existing-wise, we have 79.9 square feet. Required, you're allowed to have 10% of the square footage of the front of the building. The building's 26 feet high by 125 feet long, which equates to 3,250 square feet. 10% of that's 325. So as you can see, we're way under the required amount of signage for the building. 325 is required maximum. We're at 79.9 for the existing. Now, as far as the...
Mr. Parking, the sign facing the parking lot, is that illuminated?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. No.
Is that, I mean, that's not a permitted sign. I don't know if it was part of the original approvals.
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, you should
Go ahead.
come on up.
The only illuminated sign is the one that fronts Route 10.
Okay. Here's your-
Oh, and of course, the ATM at night, obviously.
Oh, the ATM is lit as well for the...
It's, well,
The ATM sign?
The sign's not illuminated, they have a light that shines onto the sign.
Okay.
But the only sign that's fully illuminated within the sign is the one that fronts Route 10.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay, now here's our proposed signage for the ATM, I'm sorry, for drive-up canopy. As you can see on the left side of the drawing, we have an open and closed sign for the lane, open or closed. We have a sign in the middle of the canopy stating Somerset Regal Bank with the drive-up with 2 hours going to either side of the canopy for the drive-up area. And that is located on the parking side or the face side of the canopy. I'll just go back to my drawings here. I'll say right here, there we go. Which is this face of the canopy right here. That's where those signs
That's
are,
along the front,
along the front of the canopy or the
front and the
main
front
parking area side of the canopy where you
the
drive up
entrance.
to it.
It's the entrance into the parking space. Would that be
Well
fair?
put, yes, the entrance into the parking stall. That's where you'll be able to see the sign, enter, pull in, do your transaction, back out, and go on your merry way back out to West Mount Pleasant Ave.
So there's 3 new signs or 4?
There's going to be, well, there will be one new sign for the Somerset Regal Bank drive-up located in the middle of the canopy.
Right.
The other
Will
two,
that be lit, or?
yes, it will be lit.
Okay, so those 2 signs, the same sign, night view and day view. Okay,
Right.
that's my question.
And then there'll be an open and closed sign, that's more directional,
Right.
so, okay. I did just recall within, I think it's your engineer's report, to have a canopy height on this canopy as well. So that's going to be in addition to what we have here to show the canopy height at, basically it's going to be about 9 feet, yes. 9 feet to the lower side of the canopy. Okay? So that should do it.
So,
Is,
so you need a number of variances then for all this, for the signage then?
Yes, our planner will review.
Yeah, we're gonna,
Okay.
He'll go through the list of variances that we are required to
yes,
have.
correct.
yes, going to the site layout, there's a paver area along the building's rear elevation? Yes, that.
This area here,
Is that reserved just for pedestrians, or can vehicles traverse that as well?
no, vehicles can traverse that as well. It's same level as the asphalt. It's more decorative, but it is drivable.
Is there circulation arrows on site? Like, are the drive aisles one way, or are the drive aisles two way?
I don't recall any. I do believe I had them, I would show them, but maybe
We'll
David
have-
can answer
we'll
that.
have
There's
Mr.
no
Orlando.
directional markings on the pavement right now. There's no restriction both ways.
Are they wide enough to go in either direction?
Yes, the aisles are wide enough to go in either direction.
Did
They're-
the applicant have any ideas on when cars are accessing those 2 parking stalls? Was there a thought of additional directional signage to say they should loop through the site to queue, or, as the parking stalls along the side are not 90 degree, they're kind of, so do the
they're on
cars
60, yeah.
loop through?
There's no signage for directional driving because looking or being on the site, the aisles are 2-way aisles. That is 60-degree parking along the westerly boundary only. So typically, anybody in that stall will kind of have the ability to back out and then go out towards the building, make the left and make the right.
Yeah,
out
and my
to-
concern is, and the board may disagree, is that if people come in and make a left to go into those stalls,
Okay.
then they're trying to go into a 60-degree stall.
Oh, I see what you're saying, like it's on a slight angle, therefore they're heading it kind of in the wrong way to make their
So
maneuver.
if someone comes this way and then someone comes this way,
Okay, I understand. I feel there's enough room for somebody to manage that, at least for the first stall, for the first drive-up section. The second one might be a little bit more difficult, like you're stating, because the fact is you're coming over and then having to,
And
I guess,
the
come
other-
back on it.
The other concern might be if there's two, how are vehicles queuing? Like,
I think that's
I
the
would
million-dollar question.
I hate
Where's
for
the,
like,
where's the third car go?
and I don't want,
Okay.
or for example, I don't want, or my concern is that if there's two cars queued on one side and two cars queued on the other, are they gonna be like, I was here first?
Well,
Blow your horn, I like that answer, but yeah, go ahead, maybe David.
no,
yeah,
the only
just
comment I
go
was saying is right now, if someone wants to park in those spots because it's closest to the building, there'd be the same issue, right? If someone wants to park there and get closest to the building.
I don't disagree, but now you're offering a service,
Correct.
which is fine. It's just, for example, I believe we've all been in those drive-throughs that have like the two lanes that go into one, and everyone's always watching to see who actually got into the queue at what time, to see who will get to the service. And so my concern is that you're gonna have cars queuing up along the rear of the building, and then cars queuing up perpendicular to the building, and they're gonna be having discussions about
Understood.
whose turn it is.
Understood. I think in that type of situation, this drive-up is only open during business hours, if I believe that's correct, making that assumption. And if the drive-up is full, they still have the ability to park
So
and walk into the bank.
would the
Just to give an
applicant consider adding additional directional signage that would direct vehicles to loop through the parking lot and to queue up on that
On the-
western drive aisle,
Along the westerly side line of this parking area here.
so that they wouldn't be able to queue up in two different
I-
locations?
I mean, just to clarify, just so I
We-
understand what that means.
Yeah,
I mean, I
like-
know what directional sign is, but they want a striping on the pavement that says one way, or?
I would say like a striping or painting on the ground to say drive up with a directional arrow to come in and go this way. If you all can see where I'm pointing here. Come up this aisle for a drive up and just have drive up, maybe with a turn here, drive up with a turn, so they will queue up, like you're stating, up in this aisle here if they want to wait for the drive up to open.
Because then they would still have access to parking if they don't want to wait. They could just
Correct.
pull into a
That's
spot.
actually a very good idea to help directional around the site.
And maybe additionally, you may want to consider giving no entry on the, not no entry, but it's not for the drive pull-up
Yeah.
ATM on the other side perpendicular to the building.
That's actually a good idea to have that, just to assist in directional movement on the site.
Fine.
Okay.
And I also just want to point out there's 10 designated spots for the bank only, right in front of the entrance. Those first 10 spots right there are bank-only spots, so that's, if someone could clearly see that there's two people within the canopy, they would easily pull into any of those 10 designated spots right in front of the building and either wait there but we're amenable to what your recommendation was.
How does the second car in know to leave room so the guy can back out? Number one, back out.
This vehicle waiting,
Yeah, the first vehicle.
the first vehicle, there's room for either vehicle to back out.
Well, I'm just saying in a normal drive-through, I'm going to the bank, I'm going to the pharmacy, the car wash, you pull right up behind the person because you're not expecting they're gonna have to back out, right?
They're gonna go out.
They're gonna go forward. So how does anybody know to leave room for the back out?
It's just like if you're waiting for a parking stall in a shopping center, it's the same idea. If you want to access that stall as somebody's getting in their car, you stop away from them so they can back out.
But that's a move everybody's made 1,000 times. Like, people, I mean, I understand the second or third time they get there, they'll all figure it out.
Right.
But the first time everyone goes through, they're gonna have no idea to wait for
think-
somebody to give somebody room
Well-
to back
I
out.
think the difference is on a typical drive-through, what I would say, a typical drive-through, you see that there's nothing in front of it, so you wait here, you could, on the side of the parking, there's clearly, on the, what is that, the west side of the parking, there's a Belgian block curb throughout, that runs the entire length of the parking lot, which is clearly seen, so anyone that pulls towards the parking, towards the canopy, will easily see the other property there on the Belgian block, and I think it's even a higher elevation, so the sightline would not yield.
So we're counting on the second driver to
No.
figure the situation out.
What if,
I
what
mean,
what if
I think
I'm-
if you're there, it's pretty self-explanatory, obvious that you can't drive through because of the curbing on the western side of the property, the increased elevation on the western side of the property, and the visibility that you'll still have with the canopy there.
And what about if there's 3 cars queued up? And somebody comes out of the bank and is parked, or comes out of their office, is parked on the curb?
That was my question.
And
You know,
then-
I'm parked there, and now there's 2 or 3 cars queued behind me, and I can't pull out of my parking space.
I don't understand why
Well-
people would be queuing three. It's not a typical drive-through where there's space to queue. It's a parking lot. It's just a way for
So
people.
so you're assuming that there won't be any queuing at all? If it's open, somebody's gonna pull in, if somebody's there, they're gonna go park someplace else and go into the bank?
I believe, yes.
Okay.
I believe there's be no queuing. Again, the entire parking lot is never full. There's at least 25 to 30% open spots, and I think that if anyone pulls in and there's 2 people there, they're either gonna loop back around and pull into one of the bank-only spots and wait, or come into the bank, or pull into any of the other spots that are open, and then wait until someone leaves. Especially if you have the one-way directional only signage that you're proposing.
When they make the directional signage, what if you make a signage saying that the next car should be 10 feet behind and not just right behind the car that's parked inside in this area? So at least if I'm the next person, I know, okay, I must stop here because there's somebody else doing business and they have to reverse and go out.
So you're
not saying-
contemplating some kind of a sign that would say to keep an adequate distance and maybe specify 10 feet?
Something that cuts the
yeah.
chaos.
Possibly striking something on the pavement.
Right,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Almost like a do not block, do not
Like
block.
we
Do not
can have,
block,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Because I can see on
Yes.
an inclement day, people are going to be queuing up to use that, so they don't have to get out of the car and go to the bench.
And on
Yeah.
those inclement days, they may not see the signage on the asphalt.
Yeah. We can actually do something similar to what you're suggesting, is like a stop bar, and just have on the ground, because there's really no good placement for a sign in this area in the middle of a parking lot. So you can just put a stop bar on the ground, like
Yeah,
2
on the
stalls
drive.
back,
That's a
like
good
right in
point.
this section here, and say, stop here for drive-through or something, some sort of verbiage like that.
Yeah, I think you should consider on the big sign that says drive up, maybe it should say drive in, back out. So everybody reads it above before they get hooked.
Some sort of terminology like that. That,
Yeah.
That way no one will accidentally drive forward.
drive in,
Yeah.
out. Some, no.
Wait here until
What?
green or something like that.
I
Wait
do
here
like
until
the idea of the stop bar, because that'll tell somebody, hey, there's a big stop bar here. So if somebody is in there, I can queue here and proceed once they're done with their transaction. I think that's the best solution for that. And we could put it 2 stalls back, give them plenty of room to back out, either one of those customers within the drive up.
Do
and
you
then they can
have,
go-
I mean, do you have experience with other types of drive-ins similar to this in any other location?
Yes, I know of one other that I
Okay,
have seen in operation. It's not used that much. It's a similar situation. It's right at near the building, and it's not your typical drive-through where you would have, people coming in and out. It's more of a convenience if somebody doesn't want to get out of their car, to be honest with you. They just come up, drive into it, do their transaction, back out. Not much difference than parking and going into the bank. It saves you a couple minutes probably, but I have seen it in action, and it's not as busy as a drive-through, that's for sure. So,
And I wanted to ask you, you said you have 15 spots allotted to you, assigned to the bank? 15 parking spots
that's what's
for
required.
the 2,900 square feet,
Yeah,
right?
that's what's required,
So
yes.
these 2 are in addition to the 15 or in part of the 15?
Part of the
Part of
15.
the 15, so we're not using more spots than you're assigned?
No,
No, I don't think it's signed. I think what we would have to have, I mean, there's 10 designated spots for bank only. we would need 15 spots to qualify for our spots, but we have the access to the entire parking lot, I believe is what the testimony was.
Yeah, right now you have 10 assigned
Right.
currently. This
And-
will be an additional 2. So 12 assigned total throughout the parking area where we're required to have 15. They're taking assigned 12 stalls out of that parking area.
And you are not the landlord yourself, are you?
No, I'm the
So
tenant.
the landlord is okay with 2 additional spots assigned for the
Yes.
bank?
They were okay with this whole concept, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to go forward.
I still have concerns about, the parking, up on, what would be the west side, with, people pulling in, people pulling out, and people trying to, use the, use the drive-in, and then backing out. It just,
Let's go to my 4th sheet. I don't quite have it. I do believe we put like a stop bar here with some verbiage below it, just stating, stop here for
Drive up.
drive-up.
I think the concern is more that if cars are stacked behind that stop bar, if cars can pull out from the parking stalls adjoining where they're queuing. So not the drive-in, the ones to the south, I believe it is.
You're in essence blocking the other stalls if
So-
there is a queue, right? So one thing maybe to consider, and I'm just throwing this out there, is maybe those first couple stalls beyond the carport are employee parking stalls, so it's not a high turnover, right? So if they're parked there all day and they're kind of sitting there, you don't have to worry about that conflict of that stall backing out and being blocked by a queue. So there's 2 things, right? There's the person that pulls up, tries to pull into the carport and blocks the other guy from backing out, but then it also blocks, the queue also blocks the stalls for the cars that are parked beyond that.
That's an
That's
option.
fine. I mean, we're okay with that. I mean, a lot of employees park there now anyway,
Yeah.
because they get there early and they want to start there. I just want to also point out to some color, I mean, with the advent of online banking and digital banking and everything, I know the whole, I remember being here 20 years ago when we were going for our drive-through at the other location, we had room for 6 cars or 8 cars, and they say, well, what happens if there's 8 or 10 cars to stack? 20 years ago, we didn't have any of these digital banking that happens now. The traffic within a branch is a lot different than it was now, and the only time people really want to come into the bank, if they have to go to the customer service desk where they can't use a drive up, they would have to actually park. Right now, we're trying to, so it's really, the stacking problem, I don't believe, is as much of an issue as it was 20 years ago. We're okay with making those first spots employee only, so at least it blocks it off. Also, what we're also proposing is right now when there's inclement weather, as I mentioned before, some people are pulling up right to the front of the building and idling their car and running in, leaving the car unattended, or having the driver wait for them and running into the bank and using that, which not only blocks the entrance and the bushes in the front, but is also not safe. And this would, I think, help for those people that don't follow the rules, and it'll help them as well. And again, the typical driving through the bank to access the bank parking is coming up the eastern side of the building and then making a left, and then either using one of the 10 designated bank spots right behind the building. Right when you make that left, and you'll be able to see the canopy and whether there's a car or 2 in there or not. Someone could easily go right into one of the designated spots before even making the loop around if there are 2 cars in there, and if not, they could just pull into a spot and wait until one's open. So it's unlike a traditional drive-through where you're pulling right up to the drive-through and now you're stacking behind them, or you have to go around them. The visibility to the canopy right when you pull into the parking lot is right there. That, I think, alleviates some of the concern. And again, people right now back in and out of that spot anyway, so if you really wanted to get closest to the building, you may be waiting there anyway for someone to move, which I've never seen happen. But I understand we're providing a service by having a canopy, so people may want to get out of the weather. But I think the visibility that the canopy gives from all parts of the parking lot is different than the traditional drive-through where you just come in and you're now stacking behind.
So we could have, like, the first 4 stalls be employee only?
Yeah, that's fine.
So
This-
this
this
is
one-
not an inexpensive endeavor, right? You get a pneumatic tube, you gotta do the whole thing.
Correct.
Was there an analysis done of how many transactions you do a day that would move to the outside, like to make customers happy, like to get an understanding of that?
No.
To help us decide?
I mean, this is our biggest branch. We've been in Livingston for 18 years, since 2007 when we opened different locations throughout town. This is where we combined the locations into this one building. We're just trying to provide a service to our customers. I mean, every bank pretty much has a drive-through. Chase across the street has a drive-through. All the other banks have a drive-through. We can't do a drive-through because we would be standing here and trying to eliminate spots, and we have 1 spot to spare in the entire building, so we would need to do it. And there's no feasible way to put it in a parking lot where you have joint access to lot 12, to the lot 12 business, and 2 means of ingress and egress to Route 10 and North Mitchell Avenue. So this is just a way to come up with a clever design, utilizing the spots the same way that they are now. The only thing that we're doing is add, so they're still pulling in and pulling out the same way that they would if they were parking and coming into the bank. The only difference is putting up a canopy to protect them from the weather. And this is the best way we thought to come up with a solution to just provide a service. It could be that we're not going to get any more business out of it, and we won't lose business because of it. We haven't lost business because we don't have it. We're just trying to provide an extra service than being a full-service branch bank to our customers, and trying to do whatever we can to help make them happy.
And I don't want you to think we're singling you out. When the banks come in for drive-throughs or the pharmacy, like,
Yeah, no.
this is a real analysis. Is there a bypass? What happens if somebody
I know.
gets sick and they can't back out?
I know.
If they forgot their ATM card?
I know.
So like, we don't want
I remember
your
from
parking
18
lot
years
to
ago.
just be a
Yeah.
holy mess with 3 people backed
I
up
agree.
and people can't get out of a
I know.
spot and there's fist fights.
I'm aware. I recall from 18 years ago.
You didn't even have to
And just for the note, we never had 10 cars stacked there onto Route 10. The
I'm
most
just
we ever
thinking
had was
about my bank.
4.
I mean, I only go on
And
Saturday.
that's 2 by 2, so
How did
really
it work
2.
out? That's good. So the worst never happened.
The worst didn't even come close to happening last time. But I understand the analysis and what your responsibilities are.
If there are 2 cars queued up, then you can't get to the westerly driveway. So if you come in to make a left turn and there's 2 cars queued, you can't keep going and make a right into the westerly driveway.
Okay,
You have to figure out how to go up the easterly driveway.
can I see
And I would love to see,
where you're, just so I understand.
well, the west of the driveway that's closest to your property line
So
would be blocked if there's 2 cars queued up.
we're going to direct drive-up customers to make a right-hand turn right here to come down this aisle and loop around the back
Correct.
and
Go-
queue
go
queue
down
here.
which aisle?
No, the
The
first.
first aisle right here. So we're going to have
I got you.
a drive-up arrow right here to direct them
Yeah,
down
I
this
see it,
aisle and up and
I
around.
see it, I see it.
Okay?
So let's just do a little math. If you did the stop bar so somebody could back out, and then you reserve the first 4 spaces to the right, because I don't know the direction, to the right of the overhang, that's how many feet back? So what, a car could queue, could 2 cars queue over the employee spaces?
That would be a one-car queue if we do the stop bar here, which would be the second one. If we did the first one, it would be 2. We have 2 in the queue.
We make another couple of parking spaces further down, employees, further in.
We can do whatever we want.
Like,
All right.
I mean, would it be easier, would it work better for you if you were to come back and just ask for a parking variance? I mean, how many spaces would you lose?
A parking variance for what?
If you put a full drive-through in?
It wouldn't work. We've done this analysis back when it was Norcrown Bank. I've done this analysis when it was Regal Bank. I've done this analysis now.
Wouldn't-
You can't, to do a drive-up, a regular drive-through at the back of the property,
Yeah.
you're talking, I mean, just by guesstimating, we came up with you losing, what, 8, 10 spots? It's not like one spot. Because think of what a
That-
typical drive-through facility with 2 drive-through lanes and queuing.
Yeah, you're going to have.
You're going to lose at least the back 8 to 10 spots right there.
Okay.
We've tried it. That's why we came up with this concept. And I never even thought of this concept until I saw it in another bank that had it. I can't recall the exact bank that it was, but.
Well, it's really not dissimilar to what you're seeing at like Target, you know, where you run, somebody brings the product out to you. King's has a spot like that. It's just, it's gonna get so much more use, I think, because you just have one. And
2.
Right, but you gotta make sure that they're, you know, that they're gonna be, when there's a queue is the issue.
Any other questions from our board professionals?
I think we still have one more testimony to go.
So, oh, thank you. So in listening to the testimony and the back and forth and the various concerns that were raised, I started writing various thoughts down, like the first 4 stalls for employees, putting in a stop line, traffic direction, additional signage. And I don't know if this is, I mean, there's clearly concerns from various members of the boards that have been raised with this, and I don't know if this would be helpful, but as a potential condition of approval, if the applicant would agree to work with the board's professionals, take the guidance of the board professionals in terms of how these issues can be addressed, assuming they can be addressed. If they can't, I guess the board would need to know that. But if they could be addressed, and then as a condition, you would work with the board's professionals, take their counsel, and then your plans would be updated to incorporate all of their suggestions. So it's memorialized, because I don't know how else a resolution could be crafted that could capture all of the back and forth, and I don't even know what would address your concerns or the board's concerns or not. But I think that it seems like that's a conversation that's more detailed than tonight, and I don't think that you'd be able to flesh all of those concerns out adequately tonight.
Well, we have heard quite a number of recommendations, and I
Right.
think that what I've heard is that they're acceptable and that they're helpful. So I'm not, and some of them came from the board professionals, so if there's something that I'm not sure how the process would work for that.
Well, the process would work that a condition of approval is that the applicant would sit with the board professionals. The board professionals would work with you to address the concerns to the satisfaction of the professionals, and that you would submit revised plans that would incorporate all of those changes so that they're memorialized.
Right, and that
would be a
and then we wouldn't
condition
have
of
to
the-
come back to the board.
No, it
Right,
would be a
and we
con-
could possibly list, you could possibly list some of what was discussed, or,
No,
No,
It
okay.
would be a condition of approval.
right.
And that you wouldn't get your permits to begin anything.
Understood. No, I understand that. I'm
So,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to get an understanding of what level of detail you wanted to put in the resolution, or if you wanted to leave it more open-ended, which is what it sounds like.
What I'm suggesting is open-ended. A condition of approval is
Right.
the applicant meets with the board professionals
Right.
to confer that you would update your plans
Right.
to the satisfaction of the board professionals. That's all the
Right.
resolution would state.
So it may-
Otherwise, we would have to spend the 4 or 5 hours in drilling in minutia, and I'd have to list every single thing in the resolution,
Yeah.
which I don't think is the way that.
And it may or may not.
I don't
so
think
that-
that's helpful.
So the board's, the professionals' suggestions may or may not include some of the comments that have already been made.
Correct.
Like where exactly the stop.
Right,
Exactly.
yeah, and no,
Correct.
and.
How many signs,
So
whether
Joe,
you're gonna have
rather
80.
than giving all that discretion to our professionals, why don't we have them amend the plans and come back And
You could
let
do
us
that
see
too.
everything.
You could do that too. You could.
Then Rocco and the gang don't have to have all this put upon them.
You could absolutely do that too. We could continue this application where you could work with them, submit revised plans, and then the entire board can have the revised plans in front of them to take the heat off the professionals in terms of.
And we can see the pavement markings that
yeah.
you're proposing
Yeah.
and,
Because I think you heard from the board what some of the things that we would want to see in it. So I think we already, have a framework
Yeah.
of what, we would want to see.
Yeah, I would like to see a plan showing
Okay.
queued cars drawn in from a clearance standpoint so that we can, instead of saying they'll
That's a good
block or
idea.
they won't, if this facility is built where it is and there's 2 or 3 cars queued up, I'd like to see them drawn in on a plan to see what they do to the rest of the parking lot.
It's also subject.
Okay.
It's taking this and making it bigger and put driveways actually
I got it.
on it.
Can I ask one more question? Do you need 2?
Yeah.
Does it make it
Cool.
easier if you just do 1?
Could we caucus for a couple
Yeah, of
minutes?
course.
and just,
Sure, of course.
And then
Yeah.
let you know what our thoughts are.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so let's take a break.
Yeah.
should have them include all of that, right, as additional relief. Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, Jackie. Mr.
Okay, we're
Chairman-
ready.
Sure, thank you. Mr. Chairman, there have been many helpful and considerate comments, and I think what we would like to do is sort of take everything under consideration and revise plans according to some of the decision, some of the conversations that we've had, some of the comments that we've had, and we would like to amend the plans and then come back.
Okay.
For you to review.
How long do you think that would take you, just for scheduling? What do you think?
I don't know, I can speak to,
Shouldn't take long.
how,
2 weeks. We'll
2
have it back in 2 weeks. I just email and discuss with them and have it back in about 2 weeks, my stuff anyway.
all right, so then,
So what are some next meeting dates? Let's throw a couple out, and then we'll see what will work for everybody.
And Susan, while they're looking at the dates, I did hear Mr. Santola comment that there might be a sign, an existing sign that is not permitted. And in all of these discussions with the addition of the signs, and I, as you know, I'm new to this. I don't know what the ordinance is in Livingston, but I suspect that in order to resolve this issue, you might have to add some additional C relief for variances from the sign ordinances, which your planner can address, with the
Yeah, we've
C2,
already
but
asked-
I don't think
we
any-
should add those as well.
I don't think the signs were all approved. I don't know.
So the sign in the back, that extra sign was, those are really the question.
Is your plan here?
The signs that are, other than the illuminated signs, which we got a permit for and were approved, the back and everything else, we just replaced the signs that were there, but that Valley had.
Okay.
We just took off and put the
So that
exact
was,
same
so
signs.
that was already approved then? That was really the question, whether that was
It was the
approved.
same size that Valley's sign was and the same size
Okay.
that
The
North.
only thing that's being suggested is if it somehow wasn't approved, that we just incorporate it into here, we just get it
Correct.
cleaned up, that's all.
Yeah, I just
That-
wanted
that
to
was
do
all.
boots and,
Yeah.
belts and suspenders, that's all.
Yeah, that was the only reason, bring it
Yeah.
up.
And then whatever is worked out, if that requires some additional relief, just
right,
let's,
yeah, I mean,
let's add that
there
in.
could be some
Correct,
additional, 'cause
correct.
there's
Yeah.
some additional signage perhaps that we're going to need. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
You know how they are.
I know how they are.
So, yeah, what we would like to do is if we can get a hearing date adjourned
Yeah,
without
that-
need for further notice, that would be helpful to us.
So,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that would be Tuesday, March 3rd.
will March 3rd work for everybody?
I think we're all.
I guess if it's a problem, then we can adjourn it again if something isn't ready. So,
Should be all
so
right.
the matter is then continue till March.
Wait,
Oh,
just so could we get the amended plans in like 2 weeks before so the professionals can see them when we can get them in our packet?
100%, not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so the matter is continued to March 3rd at 7:30. No further notice is required. This is your public notice.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, March 3rd, yeah, I was thinking February 3rd, no, March 3rd.
Exactly. Tuesday, March 3rd, okay. Good.
Oh, yeah. No, Richie's not here, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm not, just.